Hi, I'm talking to Life and Business Coach Tzippi Moss. Hi, Tzippi, how are you?
Good, Joanne. How are you doing this morning?
Very well, thank you. Tzippi, we're going to talk a little bit today about money stuff. As a life and business coach, what is the most important message that you'd like to get out to people with regards to money?
Joanne, that's a toughie because there's a lot I could say about money. A lot. I've been working with people with money issues for a long time. But I would say one is that people often feel like money is controlling them rather than they're controlling their money. And I want to offer them some hope and let them know this can change. You can really find ways. I can help you do it if you can't do it yourself, of really becoming a money master, mastering your finances. And a lot has to do with, what can I say, the unconscious and subconscious stuff. Money is something that is such a loaded issue in our culture. And people have so many different associations with money that this is what often causes problems. And I'll give you an example. A person might believe, if I ask, a room of 100 people who here would like to have more money in their life, most people would say, yeah, why not? But the fact of the matter is a lot of those people are struggling with their finances and wondering why the money isn't coming in or aren't happy with the amount of money that they have. And one of the reasons this happens is that people have a lot of mixed associations. For example, I've worked with people that'll say, oh yeah, I absolutely want to have more money. In fact, I want to be quite wealthy. And then you find out that they have a lot of negative associations and memories having to do with people that are wealthy. Could have been a family member who made a lot of money and who was a jerk in the way that they made their money. Perhaps they did unsavory things, they did things that were immoral, or they were just nasty. Maybe they didn't do anything immoral, they just weren't a nice person. And so that person that develops an association that people who have a lot of money aren't nice, or people who have a lot of money, that causes a lot of arguments with others and rifts within the family. Or it could be something as simple as, I'll never forget a woman that I worked with who said, I don't understand it. My husband and myself, we both make really good incomes, and we get to the end of the month. We don't have enough money at the end of the month. We're always running a deficit. At the same time, the same client would tell me over and over again about how her childhood was so wonderful, so beautiful, that her parents didn't have much of anything, and that they were a large family, but they were happy, and they were together, and she doesn't understand why her children today, they fight with each other, and everybody goes off into their own room with their own computers. Well, I began to understand that this woman has an association that if you are poorer, if there is a lack in the household, her unconscious belief was telling her, that's going to bring my family closer together. Now, it doesn't have to make logical sense. This is all like inner programming that's running us. And so I want to let people know there are ways of changing this inner programming so you can have what you want.
As a parent, what would be important points to teach your children with regards to money?
Oh, I love that question because, different children definitely have different personalities, and I'm one of those parents who parented two really different kids. My daughter used to not care about money at all. She'd give it all away. She'd know how to manage it. My son, when he was younger, he was very materialistic, and all he could think about was money. And I worked with both of these kids a lot over the years by teaching them that money is a tool. It's simply a form of energy that we can use it wisely or we can use it unwisely. It can do us good or it can burn us like a fire, right? Like a fire can heat our food, it can keep us warm, or it can burn down a house. And money is the same type of thing. And so I taught them the importance of making money, get out there and get a job, have the experience, or take the money from your allowance and put some of it aside, save a little bit of it, spend a little of it. Like don't like stick it all in the bank and let it sit there and don't enjoy it. Like definitely make sure that you use some of it. Give some of it away. That's also important. Give some of it away. You want to keep that pipeline open and free so that more money can come in. And I have two kids right now who I have to say, it's really wonderful to see that they have wonderful relationships with money. They're still young. They're at the beginning. One of them is not, he's 21. He hasn't even started his work career. The other one is just beginning. She's in university and studying. But I hold out hopes that they're going to do well for themselves. So I would say to parents, I'd say to parents, teach your kids that money is energy. It's a tool. It's a wonderful tool, and how to use it wisely.
What happens within a family, though, where the husband and wife have different thoughts and opinions on how money should be spent?
That's actually a really common problem. I see it all the time. Like one is the spender and one is the saver, okay? And so one says, no, we have to sock away a lot of money for our retirement, and we have to sock away money for the kids' education, and we shouldn't touch anything. I'm giving really exaggerated examples right now. And the other one says, no, we've got to use the money to take a vacation and have fun and buy this and buy that. And then they start to argue and fight. Now, the truth is that each one of these people has something huge to offer the relationship. So they need to look at each other's strengths here and work with each other's strengths. So the saver can learn how to enjoy money a little bit more from the spender. The spender can learn how to save. And when they have very specific issues, because I'm thinking of a client I once worked with who drove his wife crazy because he insisted on having a motorcycle, and she thought that was a ridiculous waste of money, and she wouldn't condone it. She got very, very angry with him. But once I coached them to talk to each other about what different things meant to them, what the value was for them, because the actual items, they're just symbols. And for the husband, the motorcycle was about air, freedom, independence, joy. He says, I can't live without a motorcycle. That's my oxygen. When the wife understood that it's not just a plaything for him, but it really is what keeps him going and what keeps him being a happy husband, I'm not going to say she was thrilled and excited. It took her some time, but she was willing to work with him on that part of the budget and say, okay, I heard that's important that you put money aside to buy a motorcycle for yourself. I get it. And then he should ask, what's important to you?
Difficult times, times of recession where people are unemployed, then should the person in the relationship who's the saver, should that be more dominant?
Every situation is very unique because men and women have different styles when it comes to not having enough money. Men traditionally, again, this is just a stereotype, but it tends to statistically be true, that men will automatically think, how can I make more money, right? How can I go out and get myself an extra job? The woman will have a tendency to think, how can I cut back on expenses? How can I reduce what we're using our income on because we don't have enough? The truth is a blend of those two approaches is probably best until they get themselves out of that financial mess.
Should married couples keep separate bank accounts or joint bank accounts? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a totally individual decision of the couple because couples are so different. Myself and my husband, we have a joint account. That's worked well for us. My sister and her partner have separate accounts, and that's worked well for them. I would say it's one of those things that before the marriage or before the relationship gets really grounded, that's an important thing for a couple to talk about. What are they more comfortable with? Because it could be if they have very different spending styles that they're going to feel more comfortable having separate accounts. It could be, on the other hand, that they don't want to separate their money out. They want to put it into a common pot, and that's what feels best for them, and that's the best reflection of their values as a couple. So there's no one recipe fits all here by any means.
Tell me briefly what would happen in a consultation with you if somebody came in looking for coaching help with regards finances.
So we would take a look at what's going on right now. What is their current situation? Where do they want to be? Where ideally would they want to be? Sometimes I'll say to somebody, where would you want to be a year from now? Then we'll talk a little bit about what's keeping them or what has been challenging them from getting to that place. And then I'll already in my mind be strategizing of how I can help them get there. I will often do a little belief inventory with them around money, what they were taught consciously and unconsciously from the time they were little, some of their more salient money memories because they're not aware of it, but those old money memories or more recent money memories are having a major, major effect on how they're behaving around this thing that's such a huge symbol to all of us. And none of us, or very few of us, were ever taught how to deal with.
Thank you, Tzippi. Thank you so much.
Pleasure, Joanne. Let's hope that people live a more abundant life.
Let's hope.
Bye-bye.